Good evening, everyone. I hope you're all having a wonderful evening tonight, and welcome on in. It's lovely to see you all. Special shout outs to Red Joker for getting in first and to claim the best seat in the house. But as always, a good evening to all of my guests tonight. There's so many of you here tonight as well. Got Red Joker, ARM, Kasky, Zordon, Dr. Leon, and Dr. Leon, thank you for the sub as well. I really appreciate it. I really hope you guys are all doing very, very well. It's wonderful to be back with you all. Let's go! It's been a... Man. I'd like to apologise for my absence for the past couple of weeks. Not that I should feel like I'm obligated to, of course, but I am still going to apologise. How are you feeling? We're doing much better now, at least. We're doing much better now. It has been, it's been a couple of weeks. It's been a couple of weeks in a way that, is not wonderful, not ideal. The good thing is, the good part of this is that the couple of weeks are now over. That is the good news about all of this. The past fortnight for me, unfortunately. So, I suppose we should really begin by just touching on what's been going on. How have things been in the world of Helm right now? Because I know that that's clearly very important to you all, but I feel the need to explain myself, if nothing else. So, it's been a week. It's been more than a week. I wish it was only a week. It's actually been, more than 2. Oh my god, hold on. Okay, so let's do the timeline, shall we? Let's dissect how it's been. So, as I speak right now, it is currently May the 13th. We were originally supposed to be doing a stream on the 26th of April. Unfortunately, this was a stream I had to cancel. Because unfortunately, somehow I really injured my throat, and I don't know how. The good news there was that didn't seem to convert into anything beyond that. It was uncomfortable for a few days, but I made the right play. I didn't stream that day because I'm like, I don't wanna work my throat. I don't wanna injure myself. So I thought, okay, we'll take it easy there. Then cleaning week happened. So the week after that, the week directly after that, I knew I wasn't going to be able to get my streaming done because I knew I had some business around the manor I had to take care of that was going to be keeping me busy. And, well, I didn't schedule anything for that reason. That was very deliberate on my part. In fact, actually, there was a good thing happened there. Actually, part of that business was on the Monday. We actually took my sister unit's daughter unit. We took her to the zoo because, unlike me, my sister unit is a productive member of society. So she has things that she has to do during the day sometimes. And since, we were just around the manor anyway, Lord and Lady Helm and I decided that we were going to take her off to the zoo, which honestly I was perfectly happy about. I'm going to be honest, I really like zoos. I don't know, I know it's like wait 1 second. Is that misaligned? I think the chat box, it's probably been like that for a while. I think the chat box has gotten a bit misaligned. Doesn't matter. Anyways, where were we? Zoos. That's right. I love going to the zoo. I don't know what it is. Something about just like seeing animals makes me happy. I don't want to own an animal because we've owned animals around the mansion before, and I'll be honest, while I enjoy the company of animals, I don't really enjoy the responsibility of them. Can't believe you're already teaching her Zodiac was smart. No kidding, she must be. Actually, unironically, she actually genuinely is very smart for her age, I would say. I'm not like very well versed in like development of like child units, but as far as I believe and understand, she is quite advanced for her age, I'd say. But yeah, so we went to the zoo, and that was a lovely time. That was a wonderful time. And that is where the good news ends, unfortunately. So, in fact, as early as on the way back from the zoo, I thought to myself, a bit of a twinge in one of my vents. That's not good. Well, I'm sure it won't matter too much, right? Like, I'll just ignore it. It'll go away. Like, it happens from time to time, sure. Like, it's not unusual, it's not unheard of. Except it didn't go away. It got worse. It got worse and worse. And, I'll be honest, I don't actually remember an awful lot of the middle of that week. All I remember was that by the Thursday, I was lying in bed in absolute agony with this vent driving me insane. It was Okay, I'm not going to say it's like the worst pain I've ever had in my life, because I mean, I've had some pretty serious injuries that have been extremely painful before, but it was certainly up there. It was certainly the sort of pain where it's like, I can't sleep with this, you know? To get me to plus 2 weeks. It might as well have been, actually. So, I phoned up the dentist on the Friday morning. Now, here's the problem with this. So here in England, we have something known as a bank holiday. And I'm sure that America probably has its own equivalent of these. You probably call them something slightly different, I would imagine. But basically, bank holiday is a day where we just don't do anything. Like, literally, all the shops are closed, apart from, like, supermarkets, maybe. And that's just it. Like, I'm sure there's probably some good explanation or, like, justification for it. Couldn't tell you what it was. But all this is to say, I phoned the dentist on Friday. Unfortunately, my local dentist does not open on weekends. And the bank holiday was on Monday, meaning the earliest they were going to see me was the Tuesday. Thankfully, I was able to get in touch with an emergency dentist who was able to see me on the Saturday. And thankfully, with a bit of antivirus that they provided me with, that was able to take care of the issue, thankfully. The unfortunate part is that it is an underlying issue that does require a bit more of a more in-depth maintenance at some point, but oh, speaking of maintenance, what's about? Hey Mika, hope you're doing well. Happy to see you. Well, in the dark, that is. But yeah, so unfortunately I will have to get something done with that at some point, but for the moment at least we're doing okay. Or so I thought. How naive I was to think so. So, let's see, where was this on the timeline? It was kind of like last Wednesday or so. Yeah, so last Wednesday, I was pretty much like, but thankfully by then the antivirus had done its job. And the pain was not as bad, it was quite almost gone, I'd say. And then Wednesday night, or well, Thursday morning, because of how my schedule works, I'm lying in bed and I'm thinking to myself, I got a bit of a headache. And my foot's kind of itchy. And all this is to basically say that somehow off the back of the dentist issue, I then ended up catching a small cold that turned to a fairly nasty cold. Thankfully, we're largely over it now. I'd say maybe like 80 to 90%. But yeah, when it rains, absolutely, yeah, when it rains, it pours. Hey, Mr. Player, welcome in, welcome. Can't imagine the pain from an open vent. It was pretty bad, yeah. It all conspired to just be like, man, you ever have one of those weeks, or I say weeks, it could be any amount of time. It could be weeks, could be a month, it could even be a year, I guess, if you're really unlucky, where it's like, you have one bad thing after the other. And on their own, none of these one bad things would be like too severe, you know, they wouldn't get you down too much. But the full combo of them, one thing after the other, by the end of it, I was just like, can I just catch a break, please? That would be very nice. I would really appreciate that. It really just kind of got me down a little bit. And because of that, I wasn't able to get anywhere near done as much as I would have liked to have done with the cleaning week. I unfortunately didn't quite get everything that I wanted to get done. And that really just kind of made me like, not only have I been like ill, but I haven't got as much as I wanted to get done, and kind of hit my mental a little bit because of that. And it's just like, man, I can't catch a break. Oh, and that's not all. That's just the stuff that was affecting me directly, personally. Okay, so the other two things that were kind of hitting me around there were significant. Okay, these are significantly less important problems, I'm about to say. This is really not like, if any one of these problems happened on their own, I wouldn't even be mentioning it. It was just, again, that compound, you know? And that full laugh right now, whole of endless oof issue. Oh, jeez, yeah. Things are just rough at the moment. I hope things get better for everyone, honestly. Is it worse? You're better trying to process the first one before fishing the fifth one. Exactly, yes, exactly. It's just like you can't, there's no breathing room. Okay, so the other two things, and again, I'm going to stress, these were nowhere near as big of a deal as the health issues. Jack, hi Jack, hope you're doing well. Happy to see you. All right, so here they go. first one. Final Fantasy 14. I know. Wow, guys. Helm is talking about Final Fantasy 14. Gosh, is it a day of the week that ends in the letter Y? I know. I can't help it, okay? I might be very critical of FF14, but I have spent 10,000 hours of my life in that game, so I'm going to be critical about it because I care about it and I want it to be good. And it's not good at the moment and it sucks. So Final Fantasy 14, for those unfamiliar, recently had a update as part of patch 7.21. And it's just really bad. It's just really boring. Like, okay, there's no accounting for taste. I'm sure for some people that this update was exactly what they wanted to have happen for it, but they added this thing called Cosmic Exploration, which is crafting and gathering content. Now, I'll be real, I've never been a hardcore crafter-gatherer, but I don't mind them. I kind of liked crafting from the perspective of just, chasing numbers, and I'll admit, I actually don't mind a bit of gathering from the perspective of it's something nice to do to just kind of veg out, So, if you're not familiar, in Final Fantasy 14, all of the crafting and gathering disciplines are actually, framed as being classes. So, they're obviously not on par with your combat classes. You can't take a weaver into a dungeon, for example, but they do have their own equipment. They do level up in the traditional sense of the word. And I don't know, I like to keep them all leveled just so I can do things with them if I want to. The problem is that Final Fantasy 14's got a weird relationship with their gatherers and crafters where they don't seem to know what they want to do with them. Like, there is a shit ton of content in FF14 that exists pretty much for the express purpose of leveling up your crafters. But there's not really anything to do with them once you hit that level cap. Like, yeah, you gain access to the ability to craft, which, that's pretty good. You probably want that. But there's not, challenge content for craft. And this is what they were trying to do with this. They were trying to give you something to do with endgame crafters, endgame gatherers. And it's just really boring. I don't even have a solution to what I think they could have done differently with it, but it's just a really long, really boring grind that just isn't engaging, and it kind of left me a bit bummed, because wow, this was a thing they were pushing as a big thing. I just really didn't vibe with it. Combined with that, while we're well on the bitching train here, because I never do that, I never complain about anything. In that same vein, the Cosmic Exploration stuff also kind of bugs me because, I'm going to get some images here. I want to show you guys. I need to show you guys, just in case you're unfamiliar. Because this really does require a visual aid, shall we say. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. So, one of my big problems with Final Fantasy 14 at the moment, and this is a Helm issue, potentially. This is not necessarily this is objectively bad, this is not good. This is I do not like this issue, okay? So I'm just going to grab an image, right? I want to show you guys this image first. This is just some random artwork, some key artwork from Final Fantasy 14, right? There we go. I just want to show you guys this. I want to draw your attention to some of the designs here, We've got this lady in the front, she's got a sword, she's got scale mail on. Got this big guy in the back with an axe. Pretty elegant lady there with a halberd. The potato guy with a mage staff, What does this image say to you? This is a fantasy game, clearly, right? This is clearly something set in a sort of more medieval-ish fantasy kind of time era, something of that nature, you would think, yeah? Now, let me show you an image, one of the key visuals they gave us before the latest expansion came out. We knew that ahead of time. This is a key visual for one of the new zones added in Dawn Trail. What the fuck am I looking at? Okay, this is not news. If you've been playing Final Fantasy 14, if you've been following it in any capacity, you know about this. But the entire new expansion has had this weird focus on modern and cyberpunk shit. And here's the thing, I am someone for whom that should be the idea. I am the target audience for this. I'm a robot. This should be my jam. But I really hate it. And the Cosmic Exploration stuff is actually, like, worse. Like, here we go, actual screenshot, you know what? This is just so that no one could accuse me of being, like, disingenuous about this. This is an actual in-game screenshot. This isn't, like, a concept artwork. Oh, that's a big image. What game is this? Seriously, what game is this? This is not the same game. This is Phantasy Star Online 2, I'm pretty sure. Like, it's not at all the same genre at this point. Heck, in the similar vein, let's get another visual aid up real quick. This is the amount that you can earn during this contest. There's a loud motorcycle outside. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. This is cool. I'm not going to act like this is not extremely cool. But what the fuck is it doing in my medieval fantasy game? The scale from Xenoblade X to a small body. Exactly. It's very cool, but I don't want it here. I genuinely think at this point Square Enix just does not know what to do with Fantasy 14. And I honestly think they'd be better off making just another MMORPG where they can lean more into this more modern fantasy thing, because they clearly seem to want to, right? And it sucks, because nothing here is objectively bad. Nothing here is executed poorly or looks awful. Like, again, this mech looks cool as heck. But what is it doing in my fantasy game? It really bums me as well, as someone who did get really invested in this setting, you know. I mean, heck, when did Realm Reborn come out? Let's have a look-see. Let's look-see, shall I think? Hold on, let's do my best JoJo bit. So, let's see, we've had Realm Reborn, Heaven's Ward, Stormblood, Shadowbringers, and Walker. We're in Dawntrail. Dawntrail's been out for a year, about 2 years per expansion. I'm gonna say, without Googling, I'm going to Google it after. I'm going to say that Realm Reborn came out in 2013. I'm going to guess that. When did Realm Reborn come out? Let's see. According to Google, it came out 2013. Hey, how about that? I'm actually not bad at maths. So, yeah, this game is 12 years old, and they just don't seem to know what they're doing with it anymore. It really sucks. As someone that got invested in the world and saying, I'm being a broken record at this point. I'm really getting a broken record at this point. But you know what? I'm sure you guys can understand where I'm coming from. It's like Team Fortress 2, how that game's aesthetic just got more and more diluted and now it doesn't even resemble itself. This VTuber is always treated as Umi. Oh, wait, hold on. I have an image for that. Hold on, Mika. I have an image exactly for this. Hold up. I've started saving my shit posts now, so I can access them at a moment's notice. So, hold up. Since you were kind enough to bring that one up, Mika. I made this one a little while ago after this came up on one of my Discords. I should really have also actually saved these, rather than just put them in a folder. Folder as a server thing. Here we go. This one's, I'm not gonna lie, I'm happy with this one. This one's pretty good. I don't like to brag much, but I quite like this one. This one has layers. The old world's back together. Yes! That's another great example. Another great one. Hey, lasers, welcome! Yeah, so I genuinely, I do not play Magic the Gathering. I understand bits of Magic the Gathering. Like, if you can show me a Magic the Gathering card, I can probably understand what it does, maybe, possibly. I don't know if I could tell you if it's good or not, mind you. But I have to say, I do feel nothing but, what's the word? Sympathy for the Magic the Gathering fans, because, well, I mean, it's just Fortnite the card game now, let's be honest. We're just having a little chat stream. I've been away for a couple of weeks and I kind of need to get back into the flow of things. So I thought a nice little, relaxed chatting stream would be just what the doctor ordered. But yeah, so I have no horse in the race of Magic the Gathering as far as a card game quality goes. I mean, it's got to be pretty good because people still buy it, But if I was someone who was invested in Magic the Gathering and invested in the lore and the setting, which, I'll be honest, I don't know how many people are, that's not me knocking on the quality of the lore and setting, that's just I've never really encountered people that were, like, particularly enthused about the lore. I'm sure they do exist. But if I was one of those people, I would be pissed, frankly. Because you play Magic the Gathering, you find the characters you like, the settings you like, and again, I don't know any of these, I'm not going to pretend. But to suddenly be told, yeah, we're just going to, like, can half your sets, and the next set is SpongeBob. That's pretty fucking rough to hear, I'm not going to lie. That is pretty hard to hear. Again, I'll learn if an MTG at first easy to pick in person up from how Yu-Gi-Oh works. Honestly, I've only played like once or twice. It seems pretty easy to understand. It obviously just difference in card games for sure. Real shame because MTG does legit have amazing lore stories. Nicole Bolus's stuff, or the Spark Brothers, etc. I have to take your word for it. Unfortunately, I don't know any of those are, but that doesn't mean that I don't believe you by any means. It just really does suck. I feel like on some level, we've kind of got like... We've had this sort of thing coming for a long while, right? Like, let's look back in history. As early as, like, the PS2 era, I think is the first one I can really think of. Soul Calibur. Where in Soul Calibur 2, they just started putting in, like, hey, let's put in Link from Zelda. Let's put in Heihachi from Tekken. And back then, it was like, that's really fun. That's exciting. That's novel. I don't think crossovers are an inherently bad thing, but I think we've gotten to the point now where crossovers in any media, really, have gotten mundane and routine, and they're not exciting anymore. Like, Smash Bros, don't get me wrong, Smash Bros is you know, great. I have no... I mean, it's not my favourite game, but, like, it's a great celebration of a bunch of different properties. That's cool. That's the entire point of it. But you take something like, say, Tekken, where half the characters they're writing into it are just like characters from other franchises. How much of this is Tekken anymore, you know? Hey, how you doing? We're doing alright! Just having a nice little chat stream tonight. Hope you're doing good yourselves. We already hit a point where a pivotal announcement for a major motion picture was only released in Fortnite of... Wait, really? Really? I have no idea. I'll be honest, I don't really watch a lot of movies, so I have no idea about that, but huh. Oh, great one, Mika. Yeah, Mortal Kombat as well. Rise of Skullgirl. Ah. See, I don't really follow Star Wars either, I'll be real. FFmpg says the best songs about... Oh, I don't at all doubt that. Not at all. I mean, Final Fantasy is like a license that just sells shit. And I don't mean that disparaging. But I mean, if you slap the Final Fantasy brand onto something, especially if it's Fantasy 14 related, it's just easy money. Easiest money you'll ever print in your entire life. Ronaldo's the... Oh gosh, yeah! Freaking Ronaldo in... what is it, Fatal Fury? I always get Fatal Fury and King of Fighters mixed up for some reason. Yeah, that was wild to me. that was actually wild to me. Like, when have crossovers gone too far? See, okay, there's not many things that I know about when it comes to soccer. I have negative interest in soccer, but I will say this with regard to the whole Ronaldo being in Fatal Fury thing. Missed opportunity. Missed opportunity there. Shouldn't have been Ronaldo. Should have been Maradona. And then his special could have been the Hand of God. If you don't know what I'm talking about here, don't worry. Really not that interesting. Really not that funny. Ah, man. But yeah, so like with that crossoverification of things, it really does irk me. Sometimes it works. Another great example, actually, of a game that didn't start as a crossover but became one, and I think they did a good job with it. Dead by Daylight. I don't play Dead by Daylight anymore. It's one of those games that I kind of realised is a game that I enjoy much more as a spectator than to play, which I don't think that's unusual. I think that most people have at least one or two games they can think of where they'll sure as hell watch someone play it, but they don't necessarily enjoy it, you know? But for Dead by Daylight, it kind of works because, again, it's just like a big celebration of all these horror icons, and they fit together, you know? Like, no one's gonna bat an eye at something like, oh, you know, Freddy Krueger showing up in the same game as Chucky. Yeah, that seems reasonable, why not? Ash from The Evil Dead meets Pinhead from Hellraiser. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Vecna from D&D is my favorite horror movie. Okay, yeah, that one I'll give you. Vecna and, oh gosh, what's the guy's name? I actually don't know the guy's name. The latest killer they added was like a character from Tokyo Ghoul of all things. That's a bit strange. I don't know anything about Tokyo Ghoul at all. I have no idea how horror it actually is. Maybe it's a good fit, but that one did seem a bit of a strange fit to me as well. Oh, great one, Mr. Player. Yeah, Guilty Gear adding Lucy from Cyberpunk Edge on this. That's another weird one, yeah. Like, I have no horse in the race. I don't play Guilty Gear. I don't have any affiliation with Cyberpunk, but it seemed like a really weird pick to me. It's just really strange. I like crossovers when they're done occasionally and when they fit and make sense. Like, okay, good example one. One of the Soul Calibur games, I believe it was the PSP one, had a crossover where they put Ezio into the game. That makes sense. He's from a kind of, Renaissance era, which, yeah, that's about on par for Soul Calibur. By comparison, Soul Calibur 4 just had fucking Darth Vader and Yoda in it, and I'm not gonna lie, at the time I was a lot younger, a lot more immature, and I was like, oh yeah, this is so cool. We get to play as Darth Vader, best game ever. But it kind of was dumb in hindsight. Didn't they announce FNAF for DB? I believe, yeah, that's correct, isn't it? The next killer is going to be FNAF, which I don't know how I feel about that one. I think it's probably fine, right? Like, okay, obviously FNAF is a series that is enjoyed by a lot of literal children, but it's not exclusively enjoyed by literal children, Like, let me be clear, let me be entirely clear. When I talk about certain games like Pokemon or FNAF, right? When I talk about them and I specifically talk about literal children, I don't mean that as an insult necessarily, right? Like, Pokemon games are games for literal children. I don't mean that as an insult. I literally mean they are games designed for children. The fact they happen to be enjoyed by people who are not children is not a problem. It's just more of a happy accident rather than, like, the mission statement. Okay, to my understanding, DVD's players is mostly exclusively mad children anyway. Oh man, it's wild. Honestly, I've got a friend who plays DBD, and he has mastered the art of it, right? And honestly, I say DBD, this goes for any game, actually. Like, this is I'm going to impart upon you now the wisdom of the universe, of how you can have a lot more fun playing any competitive game, no matter what that game is. Are you ready? It's very, very simple. Do not take it seriously. If you win, well, that's great. If you lose, it's just game. Why you have to be mad? Seriously, like, not taking a game seriously is like a huge game changer for the mental mindset. And it's like, it's very easy to just say it. I know that it's not easy to just turn off the tilt. I'm fully aware of that. You guys will remember that from when I was playing Castlevania before the break. Oh boy. But just play a game. It's not easy to get mad about it. Or if you need prize money for rent. If you are relying on prize money for rent, then you probably have to consider your priorities a little bit more. Just saying. If you're good enough that you are making games your living, it shouldn't be a risk that you're going to be not making the rent. Funnily enough, actually, talking about playing games for a living, like, I think I mentioned this before, my unexpected break, my mandatory break due to being ill. I've recently gone into, like, watching, of all things, League of Legends matches. I don't know why, there's something, like, very zen about it, like, just having as background noise. And I think that I've come to the understanding of, like, people that just sit and watch football, even though they've never kicked a ball in, like, the last 3 decades, Like, I will never play League of Legends. I mean, well, okay, never say never, I mean, if look, I'm just saying, like, if a man comes into my house and threatens me with a gun unless I go run it down top lane as Tom Kench, then I probably would still run it down top lane as Tom Kench. But I'm probably never going to play League of Legends again. If the League was internet taboo. I mean, it kind of is. A 2-stream win. I actually have played... Hold on. Steam should be able to tell me this. I have played, I think, 1 game of Dota 2. How long did that take me? This was before I even played League. I have played 72 minutes of Dota 2, apparently. Wow, Dota 2 still gets updates? I had no idea. I'll be honest, I actually genuinely thought Dota 2 was, like, kind of dead. But yeah, I played, like, 72 minutes of Dota 2, and I'll be honest, I don't remember much of it. The only thing I do remember of it was the character I played had, like, the world's longest fucking cooldowns. Granted, this was my first experience with MOBAs, so I was definitely not familiar with the gameplay loop and, like, the tempo, but I'm pretty sure my shortest cooldown was something like 20 seconds or something. Something like that. I was playing some, like, fire guy with, like, a big sword or something. I don't know. You could probably show me the character and I still wouldn't recognize him. I was going to risk working prison to see you to play League. Mika, you have to understand, League of Legends players are sick people. That's why. That is why. It's pretty normal for some characters, and Dota 2 is less skills from the League. Ah, okay. See, for me, I found it a bit too slow paced. That's the thing. I like faster games, you know? You're playing as Sven, I guarantee. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna look up this character. Dota 2 Sven. Was the character I was playing Sven? I don't think it was this character. I'm pretty sure the character I was playing as had like a fire elemental vibe to him. And I'm less confident about this part, but I think he didn't have a name so much as I think he might have had like a title or something. Do not end this bit. Okay, that's what I'm going to say. Okay, we're going down this rabbit hole now, I guess. This is just where we're at now in life, I suppose. Oh, it may have been Doom. This looks slightly familiar. I mean, we're going back like God. Actually, can Steam tell me when I last played the game? I think it can, right? When did I last play Dota 2? Steam, tell me. January 12th, 2013. Okay, yeah, so 12 years ago. I'm allowed to be a bit forgetful about it. Yeah, it might have been Doom. Like this. I think it was Doom. Maybe Skeleton Kingdom before it was changed? Oh, okay. Yeah, so either way, point being, it was a long while ago, and I don't really remember much about this. And I got sensitive trying to Wraith King. Oh, it's okay. I'm not gonna lie, it's really funny to me that like a lot of stuff gets censored like that in China. Like skeleton, put a cloak on him. There we go. I mean, let's not forget. Where's the China Skull Servant? Skull Servant China. If you're unfamiliar, a lot of cards that have skulls in Yu-Gi-Oh! Got censored because China's got a weird thing about skulls. I won't pretend to understand it, but skeletons are just a big no-go over there. As a result of this, any cards featuring skulls have to be changed in Yu-Gi-Oh! So when they put them into Duel Links and like, boom. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of vibe with Hooded Skull Servant. Like I like the art there. It's a good look. They turned the man into a black mage. Wait, they did the king? Oh my god, the king's. Wait, I can't. Holy shit, it's actually gonna go hard. Hold on. I'm gonna show you the king. Look at this. That actually goes really hard. I kind of fuck with this. Damn it, Konami, we've gotten the lost arts. Let's get the unlost arts. I would love to have this particular version, you know? Right, hold on, what are we holding on for? The king's horror farming. You know what, speaking of all arts, you know what we still don't have, to my knowledge? We haven't got the Evil Twin alt arts in English yet. Unless they released those when I wasn't looking, but I don't think they have, right? Or are they in? No, okay. I was just Googling an image and like, I found one in English, but no, it's a proxy. That doesn't count. That's cheating. Like, I'm pretty sure the OCG's had the alt arts for Keyskin and Leela for like years now, right? When did they come out? Let's have a look, see. Wikipedia. Releases. Japan. Oh, this doesn't help. It doesn't tell me what artworks these were. I think it's the PCR clip. No, that was this year. It can't be this year. Well, whenever they came out. It came out ages ago, either way. Does not tell me, though, when. Weirdly enough, Wikipedia does have an artwork of the censored version, but it's the Korean one. So I don't think we actually have it in English yet. In fact, yeah, according to Wikipedia, the last printing of English versions of Peacekeeper and Leela was in 2022 with Battle of Legends Crystal Revenge. So we're well overdue for it. I mean, they did get a reprint in the Quarter Century Art Collection in the OCG, so hopefully we get them. I don't know. Master Earth Twin, I was like, oh yeah, we got them in English, like, on Master Duel, but I'm just confused why it's taking so long for us to get them in paper. Like, it shouldn't be, you would think it's not going to be that big of a deal, right? It's literally just, you've got the artwork, slap it on a card, release it. The only thing I'm wondering is if maybe they were considering, like, what's the word? Doing it as part of, like, the tactical tri-deck. Maybe they were going to, like, localize that, but, I mean, that was ages ago as well, so I think we're, like, I think that ship has sailed. Which kind of sucks, honestly. I really wish there was just good product that just gets you back into the game very easily now. I don't know. All this is to say, I just realised I didn't even get round to the other bad thing. We got off such a little tangent with Marcus, thank you so much for the sub! On a Nat 20 this sub, welcome back. Thank you so much! Thank you so much for your sub, I really appreciate it. Thank you. Lovely to be back. Lovely to be back. I'm hoping that we can get back to routine nice and easily. I don't know how late we're going to go tonight. Again, I will say that, like, it definitely takes me a bit to kind of get back into a routine after falling out of it, which is not great, but I'm hoping we can do it sooner than later. Although, unfortunately, I do know that we will be breaking the routine a little bit next week. Right off the bat, I know I'm really good at this whole routine thing, right, guys? So next week, next Friday, I'm going to London Comic Con. Now, you might be sitting there going, Helm, why would that be a problem? That's Friday, you don't normally stream on Fridays. And to that you would be correct. The problem is, I don't normally get sleep on that day. And that's not good for me. Like, last time I went to Comic Con with my friends, I basically crashed out at like 3 p.m. and it was awful. So, next week, what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and... This is my wild plan that I'm sure will definitely work flawlessly and in no way backfire. My plan for next week is Wednesday, I'm going to pull an all-nighter on purpose. Hopefully by doing so, I'll pass out at some point on Thursday night and wake up on Friday morning to go to Comic-Con. That's the idea. Now, obviously that means that I'm probably going to be asleep for Thursday, and I don't know how the Saturday will look. But I'm going to try and make it up one way or another that week. I don't know how we'll do it. It's a very bad idea. It probably is. It probably is. I have no follow-up or excuse. It probably is. That's literally what I have on that. It probably is a bad idea. But I am nothing if not a master of fantastically bad ideas. Anyways, I got distracted again. I'm very good at getting distracted, apparently. The other thing that was a bad thing that happened to me last week. You guys remember? I don't talk about it tremendously often, actually. It's something I've been quite good at not getting too hooked on. But, so you may know that I do have one little vice in the gacha game space. I don't actually spend a lot of money on it. I do like a tiny bit of money on it, but I do play one gacha game at the moment. Very casually, though. It's a very casual game. Oh, Discord main channel. I saw on what you got here, Cassie, as it looks like. Oh my god. Oh my god. I know which one I'm grabbing here. I know which one I'm grabbing here. It's this one. Cascade, this is fantastic. Alright, guys, we have the actual best King of the Skull Servants art. It's so good! It's so good! Oh man, I wish I could play Skull Servants with proxies just so I could play with this. This is what happens when your opponent's on Tenpai, and they're just facing down an attack position King of the Skull Servant with like 20 billion attack. Problem, Tenpai? What's the matter, Tenpai player? Afraid you might be beaten up in combat? That's a wonderful Gatsby, thank you so much. Okay, so back to my tangent, because I am very easily tangented. So my one vice at the moment, my one gacha game I have permitted myself to enjoy at the moment is Infinity Nikki. Very casual, very light-hearted game. It's one that doesn't require much of you for your dailies, which is part of why I enjoy it. You heard about this? Yes. So Infinity Nikki has had a major update. I want to say it was last Monday. I think it was last Monday. Oh, not Monday just gone, not yesterday, but Monday before. And it's not great. It's what's what I'm looking for here? Bad, actually, really bad. So, okay, let's get the good out of the way first, because there is one good thing about this. I have gushed on about this in the Discord, don't care. My stream, I can do what I like. First, let's get the good out of the way. This. I mean, I have no notes, just this dress is gorgeous. I love this dress. You all know I'm a big sucker for feathery wings. It's something that I'm definitely going to try and put a pin in for when I eventually get around to get my 2.0 sorted out. But yeah, I love this dress, very happy about this dress, and I did get this dress. I had a lot of pools saved up. That's the good part. Now the bad part. Where do we begin? Where do we begin? Yes, as you are quite correct, Mr. Player. So, they completely retconned the entire game, or like the entire start of the game. Like literally, if you logged in after the update had fired, you were forced into like the start of the game, because they have just completely redone the entire start of the game. Now, I'll be honest, this is one of those matters where it's like, this doesn't bother me that much, but I'm not going to pretend it'll make it bad. I don't know, when it comes to Nikki, I'm not someone that like is super, what's the word, like strict about the lore or whatnot. Like the game's got quite silly storytelling. It's not, I don't take it very seriously. I don't think of it as very deep. But that doesn't make what they've done bad, because they've literally just retconned the entire game up to this point. That's like the bad part that's like questionable design, design-wise. Like, sure, that probably wasn't a good move. But the bigger issue is the game's just fucking broken right now. Well, okay, not right now. They have fixed a lot of the bugs, but holy shit, man, I cannot remember the last time I played a officially released product that had an update that broke as much as this. Even as much as like yesterday, sometimes there's a fast travel system in the game, and sometimes you just teleport somewhere and the controls just stop responding. Kind of. The menus still work, but Nikki just doesn't move. You have to teleport again to fix the controls. I had one a couple days ago where somehow the camera got stuck inside of Nikki's model. And this also had somehow, God knows how this works, this also had the side effect of breaking her collision. So you would teleport to a new area, and Nikki would literally just whoop, through the floor. And then you teleport somewhere else, she loads into the area, you know, the whole animation plays out, and then as soon as the physics start applying to her, whoop, back through the floor. The only way I was able to solve this, I'm playing on PlayStation, was by closing out of the game entirely and reloading the entire game, which has been the result of multiple of these problems. A lot of these bugs are the kind of bugs where you literally just have to restart the game. I love when devs needlessly break their game with stupid updates because of mandates from people that don't know what they're doing or what their fans want. Right? Aren't like producers and investors just the best people ever? They introduce dice in the worst ways possible. So that the dice system, okay. I'm not out here trying to say leave the multi-million-dollar company alone. I do think some people's expectations for the die system was a little bit unrealistic. So if you're unfamiliar, in Infinity Nikki, the main draw in Nikki is dressing up. The gacha is for outfits. Now, before the update, outfits came in one color. If you got a full duplicate of the outfit, you could evolve it, and that would get you a second color. Or in the case of the 5 stars, they had up to 4 different colors that you got by basically doing a bunch of pulls. But that was it. Like, if you really liked a certain outfit, but it wasn't in the color you wanted it, tough. Okay, sure, whatever. I actually didn't mind this, because I'm always a big believer that limitation breeds creativity. I think it's a lot better to have a set of fixed pieces to work with and trying to make them work. I think it's more fun than trying to having more freedom. But that's a me thing. That's not a good or bad thing. That's just my personal viewpoint on it. The way they introduce the dyes is a bit questionable. You have to unlock the palettes. You have to unlock the palettes for each individual item, and some of the palettes are locked behind evolutions. Typically, a lot of like the black and white and grey palettes will be evolutions, so they're harder to get. I'll be honest, I don't personally think the way they've handled the dyes is that bad. Considering that we didn't have dyes at all before now, I think having a way to get a piece you like in different colours is better than not having a way of doing it. I think some people were perhaps being a bit... What's the word I'm looking for here? Like, I guess optimistic is the word. There's not really a better word I could think of, but... Unrealistic, maybe? That sounds really dismissive. That sounds like I'm being negative about them, which is what I'm trying to go for. But Helm, it's awful to creative jokes, but God dang it. But also, they did also do another big thing as well, which was now if you level up a outfit, you actually get a third recolor for free. So, I don't know. I think that in that regard it's been fine. I can understand why people were disappointed about it. But I do think that it was unrealistic to think that the dye system was going to be something that would be... What am I trying to get at with? It's like easy to use or cheap to use? Like, let's be real, guys. It's still a gacha game. You know, gacha games do exist to make money. If you could just color wheel every single item very easily, it would really cut into their sales. So I get it. I'm not happy about it, but I get it, you know? And it feels really scummy to say that, because it's like, I do feel like I'm out here being that one meme, you know, where it's like the guy with the fedora, and he's like, leave the multi-million-dollar company alone. That's really not what it's about, but I kind of feel like I'm having to be that way, which kind of sucks. It's okay though, I'm hating on Square Enix instead, so it kind of balances out, I think. And again, based on how many headgears the Rothgar and the Viera have in FF14, I guess Square Enix is just a small indie company. Yes, I still can't believe they exist in that state, god damn it. Oh goodness, oh, pardon me a second, I need to mute for 1 sec. Pardon me. Okay, there we go. Oh jeez. Square Enix found her, no! Yoshi Pino! Oh man. It's rough because like I actually recently finished my leveling up in FF14. Like, in fact, you know what? Here's my really weird flex. We can do a weird flex about it. Look at this. Look at my character here. Oh, I have to paste this into an image. 1 sec. Keep forgetting I can't just paste what's the word? Screen grabs directly into the scene.
Success!
Here we go. Hey, look at this! Behold, my beautiful character. She's literally me, for real, for real. Oh, look at this, I got my full set of 100s across the board. Well, now what do I do? Like, I've kind of run myself into a situation where I don't really... There's not really anything keeping me tethered to the game at this point. Okay, I know Blue Mage is 80, but that's because Blue Mage has to be 80 for reasons. But like, yeah, since I've kind of like started playing more casually, there's like not really anything to do as like a mid-core player. I don't really enjoy doing hardcore raids anymore. Not to say that they're a bad thing, like I think it's great that they exist for people that want to do that sort of content, but I just like to use my time differently these days. And it kind of sucks, like the only mid-core content we've got on the horizon is the new Relic stuff, which is like, oh boy, it's Eureka again. I hate Eureka, I really hate Eureka, genuinely. It's like, oh boy, hey guys, do you like Fates? No, we don't. No one does Fates. Oh, well, here's Fates anyway. It's like, I know I keep saying it's very frustrating, but it really is. Like, Final Fantasy 14 has so much good stuff going for it, and yet Square Enix seems to have just no idea what they're doing with it, and it's really maddening to me. Maybe it's copium. Maybe I keep going on about it because I want to hope that maybe on some level that, like, you know, Yoshi P himself will be sitting in my chat, you know, because he famously does so, just listening to me and go, ah, and then like he has the epiphany because of me bitching about his game, about how to make the game better. Like, that's actually going to happen. I mean, I'm not saying I wouldn't be happy if it happened. I just don't think it'd be likely. The types of games you like just changes for the worse, and you don't like as much anymore. See me having sold 3,000+ hours of PSO2 and not liking MGS at all. I had a lot of people say the same thing about that. I didn't play much PSO2, but on Steam, how much did I play? You know, this is what would be a good use for AI. Being able to just yell at my Steam client for statistics, and it would just tell me. That would be a good use for an AI program, I think. Wait, where's PSO2? It's not in my Steam, huh? What the hell? Why is it not in my list of games? What the fuck? I'm certain Huh? Did it get removed off of Steam? No, it's still on Steam. Why is it not in my list of games? How bizarre. Well, I guess I'll never know how much I played of it. That's really weird. Like, I have games in my Steam library that I haven't played in literal decades. And yet, Fantasy Star... Hold on, maybe it's named differently. No, it's... Yes, no. How strange. Well, I'm gonna make an educated guess. Approximate guess. I'm gonna say maybe 50 hours or so, I guess I'd say, with PSO2. But I got into it, like, with the Steam release. I was by no means an old head, you know, when it came to PSO2. But I know a lot of people that did play it, and were unhappy about the NGS. Ooh, opinions on the state of console gaming due to increased prices. Personally, I believe console gaming is going to die off until a significant innovation doesn't break the bank of the average consumer. I actually very much agree with this. So, here's my thing about console gaming, right? What benefit is there for console gaming right now? So, like, hear me out with this, right? Why would you buy a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox, whatever they're on right now? I don't even know what version of Xbox I'm on right now. I think it's Xbox One S, I think it is. I'll be honest, I know literally nobody with an Xbox. But why would you buy any of these? I actually did a funny thing with my friend the other day. Right, hold on, I've got to show you this. Now let me be clear, I'm not doing this to dunk on any one particular console. I'm dunking on every console here. So don't get it twisted here. So I'm gonna just screenshot this image real quick. You know how there's that big meme that PlayStation has no games? Now, I'm not going to say that PlayStation has a bunch of games, because it doesn't have that many of its own, at all. But I need to show you guys a couple of graphics back to back, right? Bear with me. This requires visual aids. That'll do. Okay. So want to show you a couple of graphics first and foremost. This image, taken from Wikipedia, so you know, pinch of salt. This image is from Wikipedia. And this is the list of PlayStation 5 only games. Now, I don't want to talk disparagingly about any of these games, but I feel like we can probably reasonably conclude that Feed My Raptor and Feed My Raptor 2, which are games that do not even have Wikipedia page entries, probably are not exactly super high quality entries. I don't want to talk badly about them. They might be, I'm sure they're fine games, but I don't think anyone's buying a PlayStation 5 just to play Feed My Raptor 2. I will say this though, Astrobot and Astro Playroom, fucking great. Actually very good games. But these are by no means high quality, you know, system sellers, you know? You want to see something even funnier though. And again, I'm not trying to cherry pick this to dunk on any one console. I did not know this until I went and looked this up. This is a list of PlayStation 5 only games. This is the Xbox One only games. And one of these is Kinect Sports, which I don't even think it works anymore. I don't think it even sell Kinects anymore. Like, why are you buying an Xbox at this point ever? Like, that is an astonishing lack of titles. Actually, like, indefensible. Now, what were you guys saying when I was getting that organised here, real quick? No one reason to buy any console for the last 10 years have been for exclusives. There's so little difference versus PC anymore, it just isn't worth it. Exactly, that's the thing, right? Exclusives don't matter anymore. Because here's the problem. What is the selling point of a games console to a consumer? What is the idea of a games console? Why would you as a consumer buy a games console? Because it's something that you can buy that will be, in theory, cheaper than buying a PC. It will be, in theory, easier to operate than a PC. But, you know, it does less than a PC. Sure. But these days, consoles aren't actually that cheap. Like, PS5 is like $500 US. Maybe even more. I forget if it's 500 or 550 or 600, but that is not a cheap product by any means. Plus the games are now like more expensive. Plus, here's a fun one. When was the last time you guys bought a game, you put it in your console, and it just played? Like, I'm not gonna lie, I like my PS5. I think there are some games where I enjoy having them on the PS5 because of the form factor, being able to just, like, you know, lounge about in bed and play a game in a very relaxed environment. From that perspective, I can get that. But I'll be real, my PS5 is largely a glorified YouTube machine. I haven't got a smart TV, so it just fills that void, you know? I can't remember the last time I put a disc in the PS5 and it actually ran without having to either download an update or install files. And at that point, what am I doing with the disc? You know? 3DS was right about to finish. Okay, 3DS was great. I love the 3DS. 3DS, up there for one of my favourite consoles ever. Last time I bought a console game at Peers was the Metroid Prime 1 remake. I'm not to buy the Switch Xenoblade X for Stockholm Syndromes. Gosh, the last time I bought a game for my console. But I'm looking over my console now. No, I didn't buy those. Those were gifts. Those were Christmas gifts. I think the last time I bought a game for a home console, I remember now. I bought pre-owned Tasmanian Tiger HD collection, Dynasty Warriors, the bad one, and I can't even remember what the third game was. I only know that I bought 3 games because they were on like a buy 2 get 1 free sale. And that was like, gosh, gosh, that was like 2023. I don't think I bought any games last year on consoles. I got a few for like gifts, but I genuinely don't think I actually booked any. Huh. Wait, no, I did buy a game. I bought Medabot Girls Mission when I was in Japan. That technically does count. I feel that every console charges to play online. Exactly, that's the other thing, yeah. Like, playing online with consoles costs money. Well, if you buy a PC, you just get to play online for free. Well, not for free, but you know, as part of your internet package. Sure, you've got like games like, what's the word? What's the game I'm trying to think? But, you know, MMOs, you know, you got to pay a subscription thing. Still by myself, just got Luna. Okay. I need to talk about Luna. This is extremely important and not at all trivial. So, I was watching a friend play through Luna recently. Now, I have never played Luna apart from the really bad one on Nintendo DS, right? I promise I'm going somewhere with this. In fact, this actually comes down to why my throat was bad 2 weeks ago. Genuinely, this comes down to that. I'm not doing a bit here. So, for those of you unfamiliar, if you've never played Luna, which I hadn't, Luna is a fairly unremarkable RPG in terms of its mechanics, but for its time, it looked and sounded really good. Like, this was a game on Sega CD, I believe, that had, like, voice acting, it had, like, full animated cutscenes. For its time, this game looked amazing. Now, they recently gave a modern port for it, and from what I gather, the port is pretty good. A few people have gotten bent out of shape about them slightly changing part of the script, but it seems like a complete nothing burger from what I understand. But the important thing about Luna, the thing I need to tell you about with Luna, is about a certain character. Allow me to introduce you to Nash. Nash is a party member in Luna. Nash is a sort of mage character, right? Now, Luna does the thing where when your characters do an action in battle, they say a line. And when I say they do a line, well, they do the same line every single time. As long as you're doing the same action, you will get the same voice line out of that character every time you use that action in battle. In the case of Nash, Nash begins with a lightning spell. And Nash's lightning spell transforms him into Mech Knight Avram. Because every single time he casts a lightning spell, he hits the enemy with, "Check this out!" Now, that in itself, that's very funny to me, because of course it's funny to me. I am completely Yu-Gi-Oh! Brain rotted. So of course, that's very funny to me. But it gets better. That was not what ruined my throat the other day. So later on in the game, the party decide they're going to go and fight the big bad guy. Sure. You know, JRPG. That's what you do. They get this airship, and at this moment, Nash has like a little psychotic break. He has this moment of, oh god, wait, you guys are actually going to go and fight the big bad guy. You can't do that. He'll kill us all. I'm going to stop you guys for your own good. And in the middle of this dramatic scene, he runs up to the airship, and to stop you guys from flying the airship, he damages it with, "Check this out!" I fucking lost my shit, so I am pretty reserved when it comes to my laughter. It takes a lot to actually make me full-on laugh, right? I wish I had been recording myself that day. I howled with laughter. I genuinely laughed so hard I thought I was going to pass out at one point. Something about the timing of it just fucking sent me over the edge. And I genuinely laughed so hard, it wasn't until the next morning after when I woke up and went, oh god, I hurt myself with that. So that was why 2 Saturdays ago, I had to cancel the stream because of fucking Nash yelling, "Check this out," and ruining the dramatic scene. It's rare when it happens when you run those play pass. So yeah, it really is, yeah. Talk about that part. I'm not even mad about it. Honestly, it was the best part of the game for me. Genuinely, I I would definitely have not cared about Nash if it wasn't for that. Well, okay, maybe I'd cared a little because, again, Mech Knight Avram. Anyways, going back to the console talk. So I'm all over the place tonight. I do think that we are going to start to see a potential crash in the future for consoles, because why would you buy a console these days? PCs can do basically everything that consoles do. For cheaper, sure, they might be a bit more unreliable comparatively, but they're certainly not much faster when it comes to it. Like, you've still got to install your games. I think the only one company that is probably likely to survive if we do see a video game crash will be Nintendo, because unfortunately, Nintendo. Okay, you guys know Disney adults. You heard that term? You know, the Disney adult who's like obsessed with Disney. Everything in their life is Disney. Their vacation is Disney. Their car is Disney. You know. I think Nintendo is like low-key trying to cultivate Nintendo adults. And, you know, whatever. That's what you want to do, that's fine. But I think that Nintendo has just like so many fans that will buy whatever. Okay. The best point about what I'm trying to get here, right? Have you guys must have seen this. Now I'm quoting here, this is not my opinion. I very much believe the opposite of this. But have you guys ever seen when people on Twitter or whatever will bring out this one particular line that they love to bring out? They always love to trot this line out whenever Nintendo introduces like a new port of their game. Like oh, guys, Nintendo here, we're going to put Pokemon Red on our shop. You can buy it for like $7. And people love to trot out this line, quote unquote, again, this is not my belief, I'm quoting, it is always morally correct to pirate Nintendo games. I don't believe this at all. I do not believe this at all. I think if you want a product and it's available for purchase, you should purchase it, legally, with currency. And yet, the same people that seem to have this opinion were bending over themselves backwards to justify spending $60 to buy a game on the Nintendo Switch 2 that they already own on Nintendo Switch 1. I cannot understand this. I don't get it. I really don't. Nintendo has literally so much money stocked that they could use millions each year and still pay for like 10 years or something at total loss. They have banked so much money they could run a deficit of $250 million every year still to buy till 2052. That is wild. Actually insane. And I mean, people keep buying it, right? Like, that's the thing. If people keep buying it, why would they not? Now, here's the thing. I like Nintendo's products by and large, but I've kind of gone to the point these days where I don't really think it's for me anymore. I liked Nintendo best during the DS era, I think. I think when Nintendo were doing the DS, it was that perfect Goldilocks zone for the games being good quality, but they weren't like so high fidelity that they took forever to make and didn't have to cost an arm and a leg. Escape North Fantasy said, piracy is not a pricing issue but a service issue. And yeah, I agree with that. I very much agree with that. The games on the platform people will buy. Yeah, I agree. I do agree. Here's the thing. I'm not knocking the people that... Let me be clear on this. I am not knocking the people that want to buy the games for the Switch 2. If you want to buy the games for the Switch 2, that's great. What I find funny is that the same people will bend over backwards to make excuses for pirating games when it suits them. That's what I find bizarre. The only game I'm interested in at all right now is Metroid Prime 4. I took so long to put anything out that I don't care anymore. Yeah, I like the Prime series, but it's not like a system seller for me by any means. Those handheld games are always better than the consoles. I agree. Like, Nintendo lost me when they released the Switch. Because I will stand by this. I will die on this hill. If this is the unpopular opinion, then I will, you know, go down swinging when I say this. The Nintendo Switch combines the worst aspects of both a home console and a handheld. It's more expensive than any handheld previously. The games are more expensive than any handheld previously. Sure, they do look nicer, but they're not quite on par with like a PC game or like the PS5. You have to pay to play online like a home console. It's not even very portable. Like, have you seen the Nintendo Switch? Like, you can't really fit that in your pocket. I mean, I'll be honest, the 3DS XL is a bit of an ask to try and fit in a pocket as well, but there's no way in hell you're ever going to fit a Switch Lite in your pocket. Or a regular Switch. Hey, Nefes, welcome in! Welcome. Hope you're doing well. Where can play that video games? Hope you're doing well. But yeah, that's why I think Nintendo lost me. I think that merging their handheld and their home market into one, you just end up with like elements of both with the benefits of neither. I would, if Nintendo came out tomorrow and said, okay, we're going to release a new model of the Switch. It's going to be a compact version of the Switch, smaller screen, but it'll be cheaper. And because the Switch 2 is coming out, we're also going to like slash the cost of all the Switch games by like, I don't know, 20%. I would probably buy that. And I have the Switch Lite. I would probably actually buy that. Get larger pockets, dang it. I mean, yeah, I guess actually skill issue really, isn't it? Huh. To be fair though, there's not really many options as far as like pockets go for maid outfits, I'll be real. Yeah, I'm putting on the pass on the Switch 2, and that's like it comes like right down. I have a Switch Lite, and gosh, let me see if I can think of what games I have on it. I got Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I got WarioWare, which was fun. Didn't really hold my attention as long as like some of the other ones though. I got the new Pokemon Snap. Fire Emblem Three Houses, which I really did enjoy. I think that's it. But the problem is I find it really hard to justify it, you know? When it comes to like buying Nintendo games. I don't know what it is. I have this weird mental block about them where I can't justify them as like a full price purchase all the time. Something especially with the PSP Vita. I didn't like the PSP or the Vita that much, but that's entirely a me issue. I just found them too small. Like, I have quite long fingers, and I found it quite hard to grip them properly. But that's entirely a me issue. Entirely a me issue. I have like, a huge pocket in your apron is literally trying to pocket. Okay, but I don't wear my apron out of the house. This is my uniform. That'll be honestly really cool. Please explode on June 7th, 2026. You know what, Rekka? I will promise you right now. I will promise you right now that I will definitely not do that. Man, though, with the Switch 2 and like what was the thing they added? Oh god, that was Switch 2. Okay, I want to. My mode about this is turned into a Nintendo hating stream now. This is just how it works now. With the Switch 2, I don't understand like the marketing. Like a big part of the marketing for the Switch 2 was like, oh yes, we're gonna include game chat. Huh? Guys, I don't want to be that guy about it, but no one's going to use this feature. Like, literally no one is going to. Why would you ever use the shitty Nintendo Discord when Discord exists? Now, I'm not going to act like Discord is flawless by any means. Like, there's definitely things Discord could do better. But Discord is free. And you can get it on your phone. And your phone probably has a better quality microphone than whatever the hell the Switch 2's microphone is going to be like. I don't get this weird, like, focus on this feature that's dead on arrival. Like, if you are gonna buy a Nintendo Switch 2, which let's not forget, the Switch 2 is not a budget console. The Switch 2 is like, how much was it again? Like 500? Hold on. Switch 2 price. Let's see, according to Nintendo, the Switch 2 is a £400 console. But you need a special microphone camera, so it doesn't even come with one built in. Are you shitting me? What? Huh? We had this on the 3DS. We had a microphone and a camera in the 3DS. We had multiple cameras in the 3DS. Okay, the microphone's built in. Okay. But even so, if you are going to buy a Nintendo Switch, Switch 2. If you are buying a Nintendo Switch 2, this is an absolute luxury item. You know, this is not a budget item. It doesn't do anything essential. It's entertainment, which I'm not here saying that entertainment is, you know, I'm not saying entertainment should only be for those who can afford it, but it is a luxury item, right? If you are in a position where you can afford a Nintendo Switch, you definitely have a phone. I would be astonished if there's anyone who is buying a Nintendo Switch 2 that does not have a phone. I hate to be the Blizzard guy right now, but don't you guys have phones? And if you have a phone, you can get Discord for free. I can't say I'm baffled in enough ways. Hold on. Wait, I can actually. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see. I am perplexed. I am puzzled. Totokagi, look for the raid. Welcome, my raiders. I'm Helm-Chan, the perfectly and the robot maid. We're here ranting and complaining about video games tonight. Having a wonderful evening. Welcome in. Welcome. I was just sitting here complaining about not understanding why Nintendo decided to put such a focus on ripping off Discord in their newest console, I guess. I know it's like old news, but what can I say? I'm retro. I'm antique. Okay. I was just about to say, I cannot say I'm baffled in enough ways, but I can. I am perplexed, puzzled, bewildered, mystified, bemused, confused, confounded, nonplussed, disconcerted, thrown, flummoxed, discombobulated, phased, stumped, beaten, foxed, floored, fogged, buffaloed, wildered, gavelled, mazed, obfuscated, puzzled. Oh, yeah, puzzled. Okay, these are just different tenses now. Damn you, Thesaurus! Welcome back. Thank you. I was off for a couple of weeks because I was not well, but I'm back to business to defeat the Huns. Buffalo. Very true, Kasky, very true. For those unfamiliar, that is a grammatically correct sentence in English. Because the word buffalo can mean bully. So, if you were to replace it to make it easy to understand, it would be something along the lines of bison from New York that bully bison from New York are bullied by bison from New York. So to raid and bail, there's nothing back around. No, of course, never apologise for raiding and bail. I appreciate every single raider we get. At the end of the day, you've had your stream, you're no doubt tired. So yeah, go get some post-stream aftercare and have a wonderful rest of your evening. Thank you for bringing your community over, I really appreciate it. Yeah, the Buffalo Run is one of my favourite ones, like language riddles. It's like there's a Chinese one, which I am not even going to attempt. But there's a very famous Chinese riddle that, due to how like the Chinese language works, hold on, I'm gonna find the translation of it. Here we go. So it's a Chinese poem that is made up entirely of the word she. The reason being that because of like homophones, i.e. words and syllables that sound the same, it is entirely possible to have an entire story or poem about a guy. I'm trying to find a translation for it now. For some reason, the Wikipedia page does not actually include a translation for it, which is bewildering. That seems like the most simple thing that they should have included. Hold on. Translation. Here we go. I found a translation for it. So it translates to something along the lines of this. In a stone den was a poet called She, who was a lion addict and had resolved to eat 10 lions. He often went to the market to look for lions. At 10 o'clock, 10 lions had just arrived at the market. At that time, She had just arrived at the market. He saw those 10 lions and, using his trusty arrows, caused the 10 lions to die. He brought the corpses of the 10 lions to the stone den. The stone den was damp. He asked his servants to wipe it. After the stone den was wiped, he tried to eat those 10 lions. When he ate, he realized that these 10 lions were in fact 10 stone lion corpses. Try to explain this matter. I can't attempt to pronounce it, but it's a fun little, like, language puzzle, or riddle if you like. So, yeah, it's 10, you say. Don't you buy your clothes back. Everything is Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything is Yu-Gi-Oh! There's another famous one here, actually, which is linked on Wikipedia, which is an English one. Again, a sentence that is grammatically correct, but not necessarily easy to understand when you hear it out loud, or when you read it, I should say. And the sentence is this. James while John had a better effect on the teacher. I know, it sounds like I just had a stroke or something, but it's an actual real sentence. The reason being is because it's to do with how you can use the word had in multiple texts. If you emphasize it more accurately and don't just read it off robotically, you get a sentence that reads something along the lines of this. James, while John had a better effect on the teacher. Again, it's not even like a riddle, it's just a fun quirk of how the English language works. I love it. Kind of reminds me of that old famous one. I'm gonna cheat on this. I'm not even gonna pretend that I know this one offhand. Hold on, I'm googling this one. I tell you what, I actually want to learn this one day, right? I think I've mentioned before that I actually learned one day, just for fun, the entire Modern Major General song, because I thought it'd be fun just to be able to trot that out at a moment's notice. I need to learn this one, which you've definitely heard of before. It's a Japanese one. And it's the one about Jugumo, or to use his full name, Jugumo Goku no Surikiri, Kaijari Sugi no Sugi Matsu, Unai Matsu, Furai Matsu, Kunero Tokoro ni Sumo Tokoro, Yubara Koji no Burakoji, Paipo no Shuringan no Gurindai no Pompoko P no Pompoko Na no Chokyome no Chosuke. I need to learn that one day. That's another one I think would be quite fun to just drop on people out of nowhere. Extra difficult, I don't even speak Japanese, but you know. Oh dear, pardon me. Oh, excuse me. I do apologise. Again, I'm not quite 100% up to full operating speed. As I would like to be, unfortunately. We might not go super late tonight, but that's fine, you know. Just having a little bit of yap is always nice for you guys. I do have one other little small announcement. Nothing too crazy, but a small personal victory. Some of you guys may have seen, I put this post up on Twitter the other day, and this was really just me yelling into the void, as it were, at myself. So I've mentioned this before. Personal problem I have with myself is I get very anxious about approaching people out of the blue. And when I say out of the blue, like, I don't even talk about like approaching people for commissions and things. And I have, while I was off, I was like, you know what, I'm ill, I can't do much. Maybe I can do something productive by getting a commission all set done. Spent 2 days. No, it wasn't 2 days. 3 days? 4 days? Spent way too long just staring at screens and being and coming up with what ifs. But I'm proud to say I finally, as long as I got over it, but I managed to get past the barrier for the moment at least. So I am proud to say nothing started yet. But Dragon Crow, welcome in, welcome our raiders. Lovely to see you all tonight. Welcome in, I'm Helm-Chan, the perfectly normal robot maid. We're just catching up tonight. I was off for a couple of weeks being a sicky butt, but we're back in it now. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for bringing your community over. If you need to go and do some post-stream aftercare, of course, I totally understand. If I just stream, you know that tired, but I really appreciate you bringing you guys over. I really do appreciate it. I was just saying, actually, how I had a little personal victory recently, because despite being ill, that was a bit of a less of a victory. I have started to make steps to doing something that I said I was going to do at the start of the year. Yeah, it only took me like nearly half of the year to do it. Well done, Ham, you're really good at this. But this ugly old chat box that you guys have had, well, might not be around for too much longer. Now, things like stuff, I've only taken the very first steps. It's going to be a little while yet, but I finally decided to get rid of this dusty old chat box and get something a bit nicer looking, so please look forward to that. Spice and Fantasy 4. Oh, Pixel Remastered, let's go! We're all fantasy here. Heck yeah! Hope you had a good time with that. I'll admit, I struggled a little bit with that. Okay, I just sketched. I had a little bit of trouble with 4. I got stuck on a couple of parts with it, but I had a great time with it. I honestly do think the pixel remasters are like the best way to play those games these days. But no, look, I've gotten in touch with some people. I'm going to be hopefully getting like a nice animated little chat widget like all those fancy streamers, because, I mean, I know the chat box we have is fine. The chat box has done its job. It's serviceable. It's adequate. I mean, let's be honest. I made this in like 10 minutes in Adobe Fireworks. It's not exactly at high quality. Plus, also, it hides a lot of the background. You can't even see my Evil Twin Keyskill poster. How will you know that I am Evil Twin Keyskill's biggest stalker? I mean, actual real world girlfriend, for real. If you can't see that, right? It works on physics, exactly. Yeah. So I'm hoping we're gonna get some. I'm gonna try and get better at getting less nerves about contacting people, and hopefully replacing a few things, especially the alerts. The alerts are the one thing in the stream I hate the most, because they're literally just default stream element ones, and they don't look very good. They're fine, they're serviceable, but I would like better. And then Inside Now I'm old, and then when the game released, oh my gosh, I don't think we actually got it over here. Hold on, let me check that. FF4 release date, because unfortunately, being European means that a lot of stuff doesn't get released here, and I believe release show. Yep, we didn't get it till FF4. Sorry, what FF4? What about FF Origins 4? Hello. Sometimes we'll do. Yeah, I appreciate it, Casca. I really do appreciate it. I might do that actually. Evil Twin Leader for being cut by a lot of people what made you. Look. I'm just saying. Look, if any of you guys do want to get like, you know, spicy art of me, look, you don't need to ask permission if Keyskill's involved, okay? That's all I'm saying. Anyways, I'm trying to secretly disguise as Keyskill's GPS. I'm just gonna make myself live twin, Evil Twin support. No, in fact, no, not even Evil Twin support, specifically Keyskill support. I'm not gonna be Evil Twin or Live Twin support, it's literally just gonna be Keyskill specifically. Out of hell with Keyskill, we choose spicy spoon and do nothing else spicy. Exactly. Anyway, here in the States, we never got FF. Right, that was it. Yeah. You got FF4 as FF2, 3 as 6. We didn't get any of them. Did we get one? Hold up, I think we may have gotten the one. Final Fantasy 1. Did we get one? We did not get one. I think our first one may have been 7? Did we not get a Final? Hold on. European Final Fantasy releases. Did we seriously not get a single Final Fantasy game until 7? Okay, well we got Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. That doesn't really count. That really is not counting. Yeah, holy shit, we did not get any of them until Final Fantasy 7. Huh. Thankfully, they were pretty good at amending that. We did get, like, Origins and Anthology, so, you know, we got them all eventually. But man, I actually didn't even realize that 7 was our very first one, huh? Wild. Speaking of, real crowd, I brought up in Discord, but I want to share this because this made me laugh. A little while back, talking to Yu-Gi-Oh! I made this card for funsies, right? This was just, literally just haha, this will be silly. I drew the image first, and then I thought, let's make this into a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card. So I made a fusion card of myself and Yomi. Now, I want to point something out about this card. No, not about the card itself, rather, but about when I made this card. I think I actually made this before I even started streaming, or not long after. May 2023, right? I made this in May 2023. When did Engraver get released? When was the first Engraver printing? 2024. I made this card a year before we got the release of Fiends with Engraver. And it's literally just Fiends with combo. This card literally just says perform full Fiendsmith combo. Let me just read this card out. So Yomi Helmley is a level 8 light fiend with 2500 attack and 2000 defense. requires Yomi, Quinley, and Helm-Chan as materials and has the following effect. If this card is fusion summoned, you can special summon 2 Visor Assistant tokens, which are level 2 light fiend with 0 attack and defense. Once per turn, quick effect, tribute a fiend monster from your field and target a card on the field. Destroy it. If this card is sent to the graveyard, tribute a fiend or machine monster, special summon this card. Both on a hard once per turn. So, when I made this card, the entire reason why I gave it that effect was because, haha, hey, guys, we'll make 2 level 2s because now we can do sprite stuff, you know, we can do like sprite sprint and then it becomes like a sprite monsters, etc, etc. But no, this is just full Fiendsmith combo with no downside, there's no locks or anything. And all because I had to make Yomi a light fiend because, well, I couldn't go making Yomi a dark fiend. She's not evil enough to be a dark fiend. But it's so funny to me that this card went from being like, you know, you probably would never play as to, oh my god, this is literally Fiendsmith combo. Let's say to a psychic and no machine type. Well, Punk Jam Drive, I think, is psychic, right? And we know all about the jams. And you're 25 on attack too, so you can do Genesis combos. Dang it, we're just that good. We're just that good. I've chatted with the fellow Metro and Test RPG, but I love knowing people appreciate this. Yeah, we've been going through the whole series, actually. We're actually midway, in fact, exactly midway through FF9 at the moment. My very first stream, almost 2 years ago now, oh my god, was Final Fantasy 1. That is level 8, I think most Virginia 7. It's so funny, like, if it was a 7, it would not only would it be full Fiendsmith combo, but it's also half of a DDD wave hiking Caesar. If only it was a level 7, it would have been like the best card ever in Fiendsmith by sheer accident. Genuinely, no idea. Huh. What if John Konami's watching me? No, that can't be true. If John Konami was watching me, we'd have Fog the Jam support by now. And also, I'd have Evil Twin Keys in my bedroom right now. So I guess that's definitely not the case. It's kind of weird though, speaking of like mascots for like Yu-Gi-Oh! And whatnot. It's weird how like they've really been pushing Fiendsmith lately, like not just like the cards being good, but like Engraver getting a like a deluxe mate in Master Duel. That was really unexpected, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of appreciate it though, because we all like a bit of, you know, retro pandering of course, you know, but it's nice to see them giving a bit more attention to relevant cards, you know? Wish some new artists come out of Master Duel and start playing it. Yeah, I haven't played Master Duel in a while. Steam, when did I last play Master Duel? I want to say it was for stream, but I think I played like once a couple of weeks ago just for my own time. April? Oh my god, it's been a month since I played Master Duel, that's wild. It sucks now, like I love Yu-Gi-Oh! I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is like a supremely cool game. And I think Master Duel is like such a really genuinely nice client. It's just such a shame that the format is fucking dog shit. So bad. Gonna be honest, Fiendsmith is just good. I don't mind Fiendsmith combo. If I see Snake Eyes as being a Fiendsmith one while commit war crimes, it really is. Like, it's the only. It's like, I think MBT talked about it once, right? Like how Master Duel has a unique version of that deck that no physical format ever had available. Which, I get it from the perspective of, okay, we want to make this unique format. I get that. But the format's fucking awful. Gone sucked into Pokemon TCG and Skyrim. I know a lot of people got sucked right into the Skyrim remake. I'll admit, not my cup of tea, but I'm glad that those that do enjoy it are having a good time with it. Actually, I tell you what, I did get into a game while I was sick. I needed something to do with myself, and I did find a game to play that did catch my interest. I did post that on Discord, but I'll drop it here as well. So that's not a strong recommendation. And I'll tell you why. So this game, the game I've been playing first off, is this game. 100 Line, Last Defense Academy. Now, the reason why I say this isn't a strong recommendation isn't because I don't think the game is good. I actually think the game is very good. Last week, I started playing it. I haven't played it every day by any means, but what am I up to on it now? I'm up to 25 hours played in a week. That's not bad going for me. I don't often sit down and really get sucked into a game like I did with this. The only reason why I say it's not a super strong recommendation is because this is something that is going to be a very acquired taste. I know for a fact some people would play this game and just bounce right off of it. Some people will play it and get sucked right into it. If you've never heard of this game, it is by the directors of Danganronpa and the Zero Escape series, which includes games like 9 Persons, 9 Hours, 9 Doors, and Virtue's Last Reward. Yeah, it's got 100 endings in it. And again, your mileage may vary a lot with this. I know some people really don't like the Danganronpa art style. I know some people really don't like the very over-the-top characters. I personally don't mind them, but I can understand how that would definitely bug some people. The game itself, though, does something that I think is really interesting, and I wish more games would do this. So do you guys remember when we were playing Tactical Breach Wizards a little while ago? I was very surprised by that game in a good way, because I assumed that game was going to be like a tactical RPG and come with all of the usual baggage that entailed. For example, a lot of tactical RPGs, let's take the likes of, say, Final Fantasy Tactics or whatever, you know? You've got to worry about leveling up your units, unit variety, equipment. And after a while, I find that very overwhelming. I find it very hard to keep on top of balancing out my unit's levels so that one unit doesn't become the centralizing force of the game. And when that unit can't win the game on its own, you're now screwed. Or I don't like micromanaging everyone's equipment in those kind of games. I don't mind gearing in games if I've got a small party, but once we get like beyond about 8 or so, I just kind of can't be asked. It becomes a chore rather than something I look forward to. And it's always fun to talk about dumb rules when you're going to jail. Very true, very true. But Tactical Breach Wizards and 100 Line both do something with their tactical RPG that I find very interesting, which is there is no leveling up. Or there is leveling up, but not in the traditional sense of things. So you don't level up in the sense of you kill an enemy, you gain experience points. You get enough experience points, you level up, you gain stats. Instead, the leveling ups come in the form of upgrading your abilities, and as a result of that, each level up feels a lot more impactful. But it also kind of turns the game into being more of a puzzle than anything else, you know? And I actually think that's really good. Oh wait, John, where are we set? Have a quick look, see. Okay, you know, I'm gonna read this out. So, this is regarding 100 Line Academy, right? This is I'm sure it's an interview from the director or something. So, alright, I'm just gonna read out what this said. Actually, let me just skip this, make sure there's no spoilers here. I doubt there would be, but Okay, no, this is fine. Okay, all right. So I'm going to read this off regarding 100 Line Academy. Let's define something first. Let's call the main scenario, the one Kodaka wrote, the true route. Now, the game doesn't actually label it that way, but during development, we referred to it as the true route for convenience, so I'll use that term here. My job was to take the true route, which serves as a thick trunk of the story, and grow countless branches from it, ultimately structuring the game so there's 100 endings. To be precise, 99 endings in addition to the true route. That was the very first task I tackled. Kodaka's orders were clear. Each of the endings must have meaning. They must not feel like mere bonus stories or spin-offs. No cheap bad endings. For example, no you picked right instead of left and fell into a trap, game over type endings. The true route doesn't even be called the true route, and every route should be so substantial that any of them could be considered a true route. My actual reaction was more like, is this guy insane? I genuinely thought about trying to talk some sense into him, but simply explaining it with words wouldn't be enough, so I decided a visual representation of what he was asking for. I printed out the entire flowchart of the game and pinned it up in the most prominent place in our office. Surely, once Kodaka saw this monstrosity, he would understand just how insane this idea was. But no, my plan failed spectacularly. Kodaka just stared at the enormous flowchart with satisfaction and said, "Hey, do you remember what we called our company Tokyo? This game is exactly what True Crazy is all about. This is a game only we could make." That was when I realized there was never any sanity to bring him back to. Kodaka had never been sane to begin with. That's wonderful. See, that's what I love. I love when studios are able to just go nuts and make the game they want to make. like 100 Line is definitely not the kind of game that would fly in the AAA industry. You know, it wouldn't make it past the focus group phase, I don't think. But it knows what it's trying to be and embraces that. I do have my strategy RPGs though, Super Wars, Soul Nomad, XCOM, FFT, etc. I feel like a mix of the best strings of RPGs and some fun puzzles. See, I like them when they're more puzzle-oriented. That's the thing. The problem I have with tactical RPGs, for just me personally, very much a me thing, I often find with tactical RPGs is that I will latch onto one or two units and kind of end up just over-centralizing around them. And as a result of that, when I run into a situation that can't be dealt with by those units, I don't know what to do. Or I think tactical RPGs in general are worse than regular RPGs for this scenario, okay? Maybe I'm just, not even maybe, I'm just bad at them, but I've lost track of the number of times I've encountered this exact scenario, where you're going through the game and you get to a boss fight, and the boss completely bodies you, and you're like, well damn, that wasn't even close. How do I beat this boss fight? And you go online, and people online doesn't say, oh yeah, this boss fight, he's really not that bad. Just make sure you come in with a couple of, I don't know, let's make up a unit name, a couple of divine swordsmen. And I look at my army and I go, I haven't got any divine swordsmen. They didn't look very good to me, so I didn't pick any. And then they're like, oh, okay, well if you haven't got divine swordsmen, you could bring a couple of laser monks. I don't have any laser monks either. And the game, because of the nature of TTRPGs, tactical RPGs, they're often not very easy to go back and farm those kind of units. You know, they're often a long-term investment, or sometimes just not even possible. How about generic turn-based strategy games like Advance Wars? I never actually played Advance Wars. It was one of those games I wanted to play and I never got around to it. Generally though, I'm bad at strategy. That's long and short of it. My favourite, well, one of my favourite PS1 games of all time was a game called The Unholy War, which is a map-based, or grid-based strategy game. But the reason why I love that game is because when the units meet each other, it goes into a real-time arena combat game. So although I wasn't good at the strategy, I could make up for the strategy with arcade skill, and I thought that was a really cool combat. That being said about Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm still down for another Helm-Chan event that changed up the rules. I had fun last year playing Family Food Wrestlers. I should do some, we should definitely do some more, absolutely. I know that Yu-Gi-Oh! Had its NR format, and I could be thinking, right, people like NR format, but I have to wonder, what if instead of NR format, we just remove R? Like, N format, common cards only. I don't know that it would be good. In fact, it would probably be extremely bad, but it might be quite funny. I played the heck out of Advance Wars 1 and 2. I recommend for turn-based strategy fun stuff. I definitely want to try them at some point. Unfortunately, that is one of those few Nintendo actual exclusives. Although, I know there's a game on Steam. I don't know what it's called off the top of my head, but there's a game that's like a bit like Advance Wars, but like made by different guys. Oh, what's the idea? Hold on, I'm curious. Star Wars remake be OP. I mean, that's the fun part, right? When you've got like a loaded format, like anything could be like the best card in the format. Who knows? One other format I would love to see shake out. That was perfectly normal. Oh, that's really good. Oh, that's really good. You know, that's so good. I'm just going to screenshot that right this second and dump that in my little private server where I keep notes for myself. Because that is actually fantastic. I am stealing that. Thank you for that suggestion. That is actually peak. What was I going to say before I got started by that amazing thing? Right, other formats. I don't know how this would shake out, right? But I love the idea of doing like a gym leader format. And when I say gym leader format, you know, like in Pokemon, the gym leaders all have one type, right? What if you have to lock into your one type? Not archetype. We're not just talking archetype. We're talking you pick an attribute and you pick a type. And every monster in your main and extra must be that type. So if you pick wind and winged beasts, you're only allowed to play winged beasts, even if the card would support them otherwise. I'm sorry, you can't play Harpy's Pet Dragon. It's not a winged beast, it's a dragon. Now, my only concern with this is I think that there may be some archetypes that just become busted in a situation. Like, I think that full power Blackwing just does not care about this restriction, which would not be ideal. Although I guess at least I don't get to do the Kali Yuga thing at least. That's a bit more bearable, but I don't know how most it's going to out... what's it called? What's their big towers called? Ultimate Falcon. Or the other one. I think they're both towers, aren't they? I don't know. I don't know, they kind of vampire. Vampires could work, yeah. Like, Dark Zombie is probably also very good. Just because I'm pretty sure Dark is like the most common zombie type. Probably Dark Fiend as well would probably also be very good. Yeah, one type and attribute, so all of them Dark, all of them whatever, you know. Time to run goes and match. Oh, wait. Unfortunately, I think there might be a couple of angle ships that could just like cheese this, like you could just like play Runic and just only play like Hugin in the extra deck. Just like play no monsters. Although, I don't even know if that would even be like good at that point. You're not going to be able to play any stun guys. Like, what is Hugin? I think Hugin's like a light fairy, right? Hugin with Runic wings. I think she's a light fairy. Yeah, light fairy. So, either you're not playing Hugin, or you're not playing the hideous stun shit. Which, let's be honest, that's what makes Runic actually cringe. Like, I don't like Runic, even when it's not being played for stun, but the difference between stun Runic and, you know, just actually playing just regular Runic without stun cards is like... It's a bit of a step up at least. That for me want to stop, maybe because all fish the extra race body. That would be the fun part, I think, though, right? Like, seeing people find these bizarre, shitty boss monsters that you would never consider even playing in the first place, you know? There has to be some goofy-ass shit that we can dig out for that. Unfortunately, this format does actually hit me tremendously. I have no decks in this format. Because Traptrix are all Earth, but they are part plant, part insect. Live Twins and Evil Twins are light and dark, and Cyburst and Fiend. Gate Guardian is all over the place. Kashtira is all over the place. Sprite is all over the place. Hello! Thank you for the sub, thank you so much! Where'd you go? Did you want us to dethrone you again? We're gonna save the day! I mean, I'm not gonna lie, if they give us the Digimon client on PC, I will play that, honestly. I am genuinely curious about the Digimon card game. I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I know they were making that... What was it? I forget what it's called now, but they announced it at like the last Digimon... Digicon, rather. I forget what it was called, but as far as I know, they've only kind of confirmed it for mobile devices, which I really, really, really hope they don't only put it on mobile devices, because I don't like playing games on my phone. Like, if I'm somewhere with only my phone, I just want to, like, browse the internet and, like, read Reddit or some shit, you know? Admittedly, that's partly because my phone is, really bad, actually. Really bad. I really should probably look into getting a new phone. But hold on, I can tell you guys how old my phone is. Hold on. Careful the weirdest flex as I flex on you with how old my phone is. This is the high quality content that you come to Twitch TV/Helm-Chan for, clearly. Where did I even save this? Is it here? Where did I save this? Well, I had a folder right here, but I don't see it. That is not download these? Okay, so what I was looking for the photos from my first Japan trip. But I don't know if I actually downloaded those or just looked at them on my phone. I have no idea where they'd be on my phone at this point. Wait, my phone's right here, I can look. Which was a phone from the Obama era. I actually don't know how to answer that. I'm so oblivious to what goes on in America a lot of the time, I don't even remember what year Obama was last president. Hold on, I'm on the phone now. We're looking this up for no good reason. This is a pointless thing to look up, but I'm going to satisfy my own curiosity now. Where did I go to Japan? I think it was right at the bottom here. Here we go. Okay. So I got this phone in 2019. And I got this phone specifically for my Japan trip because I'm like, if I'm going to Japan, I should probably have a good phone. Okay, I'm not going to say if I'm going to go for it. Okay, listen. Before I got this phone, it's not a bit, it's not a joke. I'm not doing this for comedic effect. Before I got this phone in 2019, my phone was literally that Nokia. Like that one Nokia that everyone brings up? The 3310? The one that's like indestructible? Unironically, I'm gonna pull it up to show you guys, for those who can't place what I'm talking about here. Unironically, this was my last phone before I got this one. I know, I lived in the Stone Age. But here's the thing, right? For the longest time, I didn't understand the point of a smartphone. I didn't really need one. I get it now, don't get me wrong, I don't know what I would do without it now. But I think smartphones are one of those things that are much like two monitors, right? In that you can get by perfectly fine without them. Well, maybe not so much these days, actually. Like, a lot of things are app-based these days, so maybe not so much now. But for the longest time, you could get by perfectly fine without, a smartphone or a second monitor. But once you get one, I think that is, you've let the genie out of the bottle. You can't go back. I remember a couple of years ago, my second monitor died on me. Just out of nowhere. Just one day, woke up, wouldn't turn on. I had it for a long while. I can't be upset with how long it lasted. It was gone, kaput. In fact, at the same time, I also replaced my computer then. Like, my computer at the time was old but functioning. I'm like, you know what? The second monitor has died on me. This computer is clearly on its way out. Let's just replace everything at once. So I did that. But I tell you what, the week or 2 weeks or however long it took between me ordering the new computer monitors and them arriving felt so claustrophobic with only one monitor. You do not realize how much you value it until you don't have it. It's actually wild. Smartphones go from luxury to necessity now. Yeah, and it's a bit of a shame. Like, I like my phone, but I think that there are some people that could stand to get a bit less screen time. Like, here's the thing, I'm not going to pretend otherwise. I am glued to my screen a lot. But the one thing I will say, the one thing I will act vaguely smug and superior about, I suppose, I won't do it in company. Like, if I'm out to dinner with someone, like, we're just like having a meal, I'm not going to just whip out my phone in the middle of dinner, or even after the dinner, like, I've been at a restaurant with people before where after the meal, people just sit on their phone. I'm just like, sir, I'm like, would you like to converse? We've come to this place together, presumably would want to interact, no? Maybe they want a Yu-Gi-Oh player. Because, Yu-Gi-Oh players hate interaction. That's like my one thing when it comes to smartphones. I do wish people wouldn't use them, like, mid-conversation, I guess. But I don't know. That might just be me being a grumpy old antique. Pardon me. We may wrap up soon-ish, but not right away. Again, I did say at the start of the stream, and I am kind of feeling it a little bit. Not quite 100%, and I don't want to risk pushing things too hard. We'll go a little longer though. I'm not gonna wrap up right away. There was something else I was going to bring out. I don't know. Something. Oh, I know what it was. The Gamer Subs update. So I'm very Gamer Subs pilled these days. But actually, I don't know if I told you guys this. I actually got some more recently. I've been trying some new flavors. I found a site that ships them from Europe, which is great because Gamer Subs is like really expensive if you're trying to get it from America because of the shipping. Like, the product itself isn't expensive compared to, like, anything else. But the shipping's like $20, or I think it might have been more, I forget. But anyways, I managed to get some in Europe, and I've been trying some new flavors, and I tried the, what's the name of it now? I forget what it's called now. Nuclear bombsicle flavor today. I'm not gonna lie, I was not expecting it to be that orange. Not unpleasant though, not unpleasant, just, I kind of expected it to be more kind of lemony, I guess, like lemon lime, I guess. That's just what I think of when I think of popsicle flavor, but not bad at all. We'll definitely keep drinking it. Oh, jeez, sorry, I just moved slightly. I just fidgeted slightly, and I just felt the back of my collar on my neck, and it just reminded me of how hot it's gotten right now. Is it hot where you guys are? The past, like, 3 or 4 days, I'd say, have just been like, it's gone from being nice to being a bit much. I don't deal well with the heat. I don't have water cooling. I just have air cooling, and it's sometimes not good enough. Although I do have an air conditioner behind the fan. You can't, behind the screen hub, you can't see it from here. Oh, come mate, sorry. You can get... Okay, there we go. Yeah, oh, it's starting to feel a little rough. Quite warm here. Yeah, it is summer, isn't it? I feel bad about complaining about hot weather when I was complaining about it being cold, but... I mean, as an English person, I think it's just my moral and legal duty to complain whenever the weather is bad. Or when it's okay. Or when it's nice. Look, as an English person, it's just my responsibility to complain about the weather regardless of its condition, okay? Unless the weather is like the exact perfect temperature, the exact perfect humidity, I will complain about it. It's in my code, I can't help it. I hope it's going to get a bit cooler for Comic-Con actually, because I don't know how it is in America. I'm assuming it's largely the same, but Comic-Con isn't necessarily, what's the most delicate way to phrase this? I'm not sure if the average Comic-Con goer over here would be allowed to participate in a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament. Because in a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament, you are required to maintain a certain standard of hygiene. What I mean to say is, the Comic-Con can get very smelly. And if it's warm, it's going to be even smellier. So I hope it's not too warm. That's actually a weird situation where I don't even know what I'm going to be looking for at Comic-Con. Like, I normally go to Comic-Con with, like, a list of things I'm looking out for to try and buy, but I don't really know what I'm after this year. I'm going to be real, kind of wander around and see what's what. Even if I don't get anything or don't get too much, though, that's fine. Honestly, Comic-Con is like half an excuse to just spend money for me and half an excuse just to hang out with my friends, because our day-to-day scheduling is unfortunately doesn't line up very well. So a lot of the time, it's like 1 or 2 chances a year we definitely get a chance to hang out a bit. Oh, jeez, I'm starting to feel the heat. Something. How's it gotten warmer? Maybe it's my computer. It might be the computer putting out the heat, but it feels like it's gotten like significantly warmer in like the last 10 minutes-ish. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm overheating. I don't feel like I'm overheating. Not sure. I think I might actually wrap things up just a little bit though, actually. After I kind of started realizing the float would be a bit rough, I think it would be for the best if we, if I treat myself delicately for a little bit. I've come back to back off of 2 being sickies, and I don't want to have a third. I'm determined that no matter what happens, I'm going to not cancel streams this week. That is I promise to myself, if I'm physically able to drag myself out of bed this week, I am physically able to do streams. Even if we end up making them short ones. If we end up making short ones like this one, that's also fine. But I'm determined that we're going to do it. So, yeah, what you got, Zordon? We can do one more topic before we wrap things up. Pardon me. I think that's part the warmness is not helping as well. Actually, cookies and give it a video. We haven't really done too much differently recently. I have been doing... What have we been doing? We've been doing a lot of smash burgers around the house lately. I'm not gonna lie, smash burgers are like one of my favourite things to make because it's so hard to fuck it up, frankly. I've been trying out some different seasonings and things. Like I made a barbecue rub with a recipe I found online, which worked out okay. Honestly, I need to try and find some new recipes. One thing that I really do want to make, actually, I've had this on my radar. I want to make it, just not got around to it. Is I want to try making Japanese style curry because despite being a gigantic weeaboo, I've never actually had it or tried it. In fact, not only have I never even tried it, I don't even think I've ever actually tried rice. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but Lady Helm never really used to do rice when I was a wee Helmlet, so I've never actually had it before. And like, you gonna go to Japan? Yeah, so here's the thing about going to Japan. I'm a fussy eater. I'm a really fussy eater. And so when we went to Japan, I played it omega safe. Because I know for a fact that in Japan, they're not big on like, what's the word? Like modifications to orders. Like if you go to something like Burger King, sure, you can like get no sauces or no salad or whatever. Like if you go to like a proper restaurant, you know, they don't typically do hold the onions or whatever, you know? And not only that, but I don't speak Japanese, so I wouldn't want to try and negotiate that anyway. Thankfully, I discovered while we were there, thanks to going to Wendy's, that ketchup and mayo in Japanese are ketchup and mayo. So it was very easy to communicate, no ketchup, no mayo. But yeah, we played like mega safe in Japan. One of my friends though that we went with is even worse than I am. This friend makes me look like I am adventurous by comparison. And I don't say that to insult them. They're a great friend. Just they know what they like, and what they like happens to be not many different types of food. Well, I'm not tremendously better. Just a little bit. The other thing that I need to make actually, I was gonna do this with my time off, and then I got sick. I was gonna make cinnamon sugar cookies again. I want to do some more of those. Those went out really good. That is one of my. That's probably like the best recipe I think we've done here. That's gone down well. Lord Helm. Lord Helm is not particularly. He does not have a sweet tooth. If we go out for dinner, or even just making dinner, he is someone that will happily go without dessert. Lady Helm, on the other hand, is the opposite. Lady Helm is someone who will happily not finish her dinner so that she can leave room for dessert. With all this said, the fact that Lord Helm specifically asked for a second batch of those cookies shows how good they are, in my opinion. Not only because he doesn't have a sweet tooth, but I think I've mentioned this before, Lord Helm is a fussy eater in a very different manner to I am. He will eat a lot of different things. There's not many foods I know of that he just does not like. However, he will sure as hell be fussy about the quality of it. If you serve him shit food, he will let you know it is shit food. That's why I've been like really relieved when I've been cooking recently. He's actually been saying like, no, this is good food. So I'm like, well, if it's coming from you, that's definitely high praise. I tend to be more adventurous with food. When you're very snobby picky, you see a steamed octopus with ketchup and mustard and go, yeah, I'll try it. See, I wish I could be. I wish I could be. It's that comfort zone thing for me. In the same way that like I struggle to step out my comfort zone to like contact people, send DMs to people that I haven't spoken to, or make phone. I hate making phone calls. I hate making phone calls. If it's someone I know, not a problem. If it's someone that I don't know very well, absolutely, like I have to psych myself up for that. I think that's kind of part of why I'm a picky eater. Is that sort of that fear of the unknown, you know? That sort of fear of different equals bad, which I use that phrase a lot because I'm trying to drill it into myself that it doesn't need to be that way. You know, that different does not need to equal bad. Just because you taste something and it's not a familiar flavor doesn't mean that it is bad, but the coding says this is not something I know, ergo it must be bad. Not just a robot thing though, that is a thing that with humans as well. Humans have been proven that they very much do not like to change their mind and do not like to try new things. By and large. I actually heard a thing about this. I forget the name of it now. It was like a theory, I guess you could call it, about how like human minds work. And it basically says that if you are told about a thing, like let's say a game perhaps, or an anime, and so say someone recommends you that thing, right? If you do not engage with that thing, but you repeatedly hear about it, you are actually significantly less likely to ever engage with that thing. Like if, so again, let's just take an anime for argument's sake, right? If you hear everyone talking about, say, Attack on Titan, let's just go with Attack on Titan for example. If you hear loads of people talk about how good Attack on Titan is and how you need to watch Attack on Titan and how it's the best thing ever, there gets to a certain point where the recommendation actually starts to push you away from it. It's a very fascinating phenomenon. And I can acknowledge it's happened to me several times on things. Like, I hear about a show, like, yeah, I've heard about it, but I've just heard so many people talk about it, and I somehow now don't want to look into it for some reason. And my cause was for something important I did to procrastinate. Yeah, that's kind of me. The problem is, if I need to call someone, it's probably for something important, and I have no good reason for the procrastination. I don't like it. I don't like calling people out of the blue. I don't know why. I don't know what I think is going to possibly happen, but if you want to see me like sit in like anxious silence for like 10 minutes, watch me when I have to make a phone call to like my garage or something. I forgot about My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer. I'm sure they're good. I just hate this so it turns me off. They'll be like 2 hipsters on. No, I get you. 100%. I actually did watch a bit of My Hero Academia. I kind of fell off on that one. I don't know what it was. Just kind of, yeah. I was enjoying it, and like 2 seasons into it, I got bored of it. I need to anime. I need to some Digimon games. Try them out from a whim, having never touched them before. So Digimon games are weird because they vary wildly in quality and genre. And even the ones I like the most, I would struggle to recommend them without a but attached. The one I would say is the easiest recommendation is probably Cyber Sleuth, which is quite a good thing because that is like the easiest one to play. Like it's on every modern console and Steam, so it's easy to get hold of. The only thing with Cyber Sleuth is it's not a tremendously deep game. It is largely just pick big number and occasionally match rock, paper, scissors. I think ultimately when it comes to Digimon games, do you like Digimon? I don't think any Digimon game will convince you that you like Digimon if you don't already like Digimon. And they're kind of like some Gundam games in the sense that they are very much carried by their license. If all you want is to see Metal Greymon shoot missiles out of his nipples, every Digimon game will probably do you fine, if that's what you're looking to get out of it. But if you're that hooked on the franchise in the first place, then you're probably just going to be happy whatever, right? Digimon games for me are like, can I use Venomon? Yes, I play. Exactly. Like, that's what I think most people want out of Digimon games. But to give a more like a proper answer, I think Cyber Sleuth is the easiest recommendation. Which these days the complete edition comes with Hacker's Memory, which is kind of like a Majora's Mask situation. Like, you know how they made Ocarina of Time and then they made Majora's Mask out of all the assets so they could make it really quickly? That's basically what Hacker's Memory is to Cyber Sleuth. It's technically a side story. Gameplay is basically the exact same, but it is a completely different story. I wish it was show, 25-ish years ago, as I a fan. If you still enjoyed it, I would say so, for sure. The other games, so if you like Digimon as a V-Pet, if you like the care features where you have to feed them and, you know, take them to the bathroom and stuff like that, Digimon World Next Order, you might enjoy that one. That game plays extremely differently, though. It's a very, very different kind of game. I actually bounced really hard off of it the first 2 or 3 times I tried to play it. However, the last time I went to play it, I played it on easy mode. And that was an actual game changer. If you play Digimon World Next Order, play it on easy mode. Because literally, hard mode, not hard mode, normal mode, it's not even a fun kind of normal mode or difficulty increase. It's literally just everything takes longer for no reason. It just respects your time less. Play it on easy mode, you have an okay time with it. The other Digimon games, I would not recommend Digimon World Dawn or Dusk. I actually finished Dawn back in the day and then tried to replay it a few years ago, and that game is bad. Frankly, it's really grindy. The maps are really samey and boring. The missions aren't very good. Even the translation is a little bit janky, which, to be fair, is also a problem in Cyber Sleuth, admittedly. There's like a couple of times in Cyber Sleuth where the translation is not quite unintelligible, but definitely like muddies it a little bit, you know? Next Order's flow traffic. It can be for sure. It can be definitely. The thing with Next Order as well is it's a game that's very much around the idea that you are constantly reborning your Digimon. So it's a little hard to get too attached to them, although by endgame you can, in theory, keep them alive indefinitely if you have enough money. Money solves all of life's problems. But no, I did enjoy Next Order. I think Next Order is probably the best Digimon game in terms of making you immersed in the world. Like, Cyber Sleuth probably has the most accessible gameplay, but it's not particularly immersive, in my opinion. Next Order is very immersive in that regards. One where your mileage will vary tremendously is, what was it called? Digimon Survive. I know some people who really like Digimon Survive. I am not among those people, unfortunately. It looks nice, the presentation is good, but remember earlier when I was saying about how, like, with tactical RPGs, I hate trying to keep all my guys on level parity and whatnot? Yeah. Digimon Survive has that problem. The tactical RPG combat isn't very fun, isn't very exciting. If you want to keep your guys all balanced level, it's going to be very grindy. I also found the storytelling just very plodding. It seemed very slow, and it did that one thing that okay, this is not unique to Digimon Survive by any means, but I hate that one visual novel trope where characters just repeat themselves over and over and over again just to really make sure you heard what they were saying. And I'm just like, sir, I signed up for a visual novel. I think you can assume that I'm here to read. You don't need to tell me it 12 times. So I never finished Survive. Your mileage may vary though. That's, you know, if you really like visual novels more than I do, you might get on better with it. But I personally couldn't vibe with it. That said, if you are looking to try a Digimon game, there is a new one coming out soon. I say, what is it? Do we have a release date for it? Digimon Elysian, I think it's called. Oh no, that's the card game, isn't it? When is the next Digimon game coming out? Do we have a date for it? I think it's next year. Let's see. Time Stranger, that's the name of it. We do not have a date, although it is apparently slated for 2025. So, who knows? Reading is too hard. Exactly, yeah. Honestly, actually, you know what? I'm gonna, real quick, I know we moved on from this ages ago, but with the 100 Line Academy, that's the one thing I want to complain about that game. You guys know, if you had played a visual novel, or not even a visual novel, some other games do this where they don't voice every line of dialogue, and that's fine, but they still make the characters make noises for every line of dialogue. You know what I'm talking about? I kind of call them barks, you know? Like, they're not saying any words or meaning, but they're just making noises to just kind of convey the tone of the line of dialogue. Like, they'll be like, yeah, stuff like that. Or like they'll be angry, like, yeah, 100 Line Academy does that for every fucking line of dialogue, and I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of annoying. It's kind of really annoying. I get it. I get it. That game has a shit ton of dialogue, you're not gonna voice all of it. I get that. I really wish there was an option to turn them off though, because the only option is the overall voice acting volume, and the voice acting is not bad. There's like 1 or 2 characters I'd say don't have very good performances, but by and large the voice acting is pretty decent, I think. Very nice, yes, exactly, yeah, like Banjo-Kazooie. Wait, what was that one? Star Fox did that. With the Cornelian speaks? Violet speak? I forget what they called it. Where Fox is like Did they ever bring that back? I know that was in like the... I know it was in 64, but did they ever bring it in any modern ones? I really hope so, because that was just really funny. And again, I haven't played Star Fox in a while. What was it like? I think the last one I played was the DS one, Star Fox... Was it Command? Assault? One of those. Star Fox, and Assault was the GameCube one. Was it Command? Command, that was the one. Star Fox Command. Ukulele, is it? True! Ukulele did do it, you're right. I need to try that game again at some point. I remember really not having a particularly good time with it when I first played it, but that was a good few years ago now, and... You know, if I can give even games like Final Fantasy VIII a full playthrough, I can probably manage to give Ukulele a second look at the very least, you know? Maybe we'll do that at some point, because I mean, it does fit like what I like to do. I do like platformers. And unfortunately, the kind of platformers I like are a bit of a dying breed at this point, let's be honest. Like, we had Crash 4 and, oh, we had Crash 4. That's something. Alright, I think we are going to wrap things up here. I'm starting to feel a little bit scratchy, and I want to try and take care of myself so that I'll be in full, hopefully full operational performance on Thursday. All the bugs you get. Okay, look, Jack, I'm going to make you a promise right now. They release Bubsy 3D on Steam and give it a remaster. I will play Bubsy 3D. I will probably hate every moment of it. I will do it. Because I've never played that game. I have no idea. I've heard it's bad, but I've never experienced how bad it is. And I'm not just going to, like, you know, take someone else's word for it. I have bad games. I have E.T. on the Atari 2600. I have played that game. It is very bad. Don't get me wrong. I'm not here to change your mind and say it is a good game, because it is unquestionably not. We need more muscle part. We do! There's one I did see one on Steam a while back. I forget its name now. I was just browsing through my Steam, like, what do they call that? Like Discovery Queue? Where, like, Steam just recommends games at you. And I saw one that looked really good. Unfortunately, it had that really obnoxious anti-cheat software that I just refuse to support games that use that, so, yeah, unfortunately, I passed on that one. It was on PlayStation as well, but it was like way more expensive on PlayStation, so I'm like, I'm not gonna pay more just to avoid the anti-cheat bullshit. I do want more mascot platforms. I'm kind of hoping that the fact that Astro Bot did so well will make people realize, hey, you know what? If you make games that are just like good, people will buy them with currency. Like, I think people these days are way too hung up on trying to monetize games after the fact, when making a game that's just good off the bat is the play, you know? We need... Coming back to the thoughts earlier about the video game crash, what we need is more games that are shorter to finish, shorter to develop, cheaper to buy, and that have actual endings, that aren't designed around the idea of monetizing them to the end of time with DLCs and cosmetics and battle passes. We need more games that you just buy the game, you play the game, you finish the game, and that's it. I know. Stunning and brave take, I'm aware. A game's good? What kind of idea is that? Well, Shovel is clear on the buy public ones. I mean, to be fair, you'd be forgiven for thinking that when you look at the Wii and the DS. Let's be honest. That console had a heckin' lot of that stuff, that's for sure. Well, that was kind of part of the charm in a weird way. Like going through like all the shovelware on the DS to find out the good stuff. It was like finding a hidden gem because there was just so much chaff to filter through. Anyways. I said I was going to wrap things up, and I should do that before I start spiraling again. Thank you guys all for joining me here tonight. I really, I know we haven't been, not the most exciting streams that we've been yapping stream, but honestly, I needed this. Just something to kind of get back into the flow of things, honestly. And I'm glad that you guys are all doing well as well. Hope you guys have been taking care of yourselves while I've been away. I will say, like, I don't know what next week is going to bring exactly, which is why I'm going to definitely keep this week as the schedule says. This is not optional. Because I don't know exactly how next week's going to be with the Comic-Con, but we'll figure it out. Even if I end up just going a bit off script and we do like some unusual stream times, like maybe we do a Sunday stream or something. I don't know. You have to with us. I hope you get better soon as well. Thank you. Yeah, I honestly, I should be good in a day or two. Honestly, it really is just like it's just a cold. I'll break the kayfabe for a bit. I've just got a rough cold. It's not that bad, but it's definitely bugging me a little bit, and I think the heat isn't helping it. So let's go and do a little raid out, shall we? Let's go and raid. Who have we not? Well, I was going to say who haven't raided in a while, but we haven't been streaming in a while, so I guess we haven't raided anywhere in a while. So let's go and raid Sane, shall we? Let's give Sane a perfectly normal maid raid. Looks like Sane is looking at Japanese custom cars that are like covered in anime characters. This looks amazing. These look incredible. So we're going to say perfect normal raid mode. We will be back on Thursday. We're going to be doing some FF9 on Thursday, picking up where we left off. I know it's been a couple of weeks, but thankfully we're right at the start of Disc 3, so it should be quite easy to pick up from there. Thanks again for joining me, everyone. I really do appreciate it. It's been lovely to be welcomed back by you all. I really appreciate all your support and all your well wishes and all that good stuff. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, everyone. Give some love, of course, to Sane when we get there, of course. Take care of yourselves, and as always, it's been a pleasure to serve you all. It's a pleasure to be back.